The year is 1989. The place is the Philippines. It's a typical day at a bank in Manila. With the end of the workday approaching, everyone is in a hurry to leave. At the counter, a well-dressed businessman is depositing a bag of cash into the bank. Everything is ordinary. The bank is ordinary, the businessman is ordinary, the teller is ordinary, even the snow outside is ordinary. The only thing out of the ordinary is the stacks of cash on the counter. The teller carefully places the money into the machine to avoid making a mistake. An ordinary sound. The stacks of cash pass quickly through the machine. This shows that the money is also ordinary. If it passes through the money counting machine, it is genuine. But you have to be absolutely sure. The teller takes one out of the stack and gives it to the bank manager. As the bank manager takes the bill to the back room to examine it, the ordinary nature of the day suddenly disappears. Because the businessman in the suit who brought the money runs out of the bank. But this is only the beginning. That seemingly ordinary day will change all the dollars in the world, even the monetary system itself. After that day, the Philippine bank examined the thousands of dollars in its possession over and over again. The classic checks did not reveal that it was counterfeit, and it passed through more advanced money counting machines. Even under ultraviolet light, nothing unusual was found. Finally, the Philippine Central Bank decided to send the money to the United States. If you think the money was checked by the central bank in the United States, you are mistaken. This was a much bigger operation. The FBI examined the money meticulously with powerful magnifying glasses. There were only two minor flaws. The first was a small gap in the line right next to Benjamin Franklin's portrait. This gap did not exist on real bills. The second was that the line under one of the lampposts on the back of the bill was thicker. The FBI wrote its report. This bill was counterfeit. It was a counterfeit bill so perfect that no bank or machine in the world could detect it. They even gave it a serial number, but its street name was the Supernotes. The FBI had solved the easy part. They had proven the bill was counterfeit. The hard part remained. How many millions of dollars of these counterfeit bills were in circulation? More importantly, who had printed them? Counterfeiting is considered the second oldest profession in the world. Forget about the first one. Counterfeit money appeared only a few years after the invention of money itself. The first money discovered by the Lydians was made by combining metals with gold. Using gold was very clever, because this meant that no one outside of the authorities could produce money. But it didn't work. Counterfeits appeared just a few years later. The edges of real coins were shaved off. The resulting gold dust was melted down and combined with simple metals to create counterfeit coins. After 1,000 years, paper money was invented in China. Again, it had to be something that couldn't be counterfeited so that not everyone could print it. The solution the Chinese found was to use wood from mulberry trees. To prevent counterfeit money from being printed, they didn't allow anyone to grow mulberry trees. Soldiers kept watch around the clock to protect the mulberry forests in the country, but it still didn't work. Somehow, they managed to print counterfeit money. Today, counterfeiting money is much more difficult than it was 1,000 years ago. To print money, you need to use the intaglio technique. Pick up a coin right now and look at it. You will see small raised areas. Intaglio is the name of that embossing technique. Passports, ID cards, stamps on official documents, and of course, money. All of these are printed using the intaglio technique. The cheapest printer capable of printing money using this technique costs $500,000, and the lightest weighs 7 tons. These printers are only manufactured in Switzerland, and you cannot buy them at will. They are only sold to central banks. Let's go back to the counterfeit dollars at the beginning of the video. They were printed using the intaglio technique and were flawless. That's why the CIA focused on the possibility that these bills had been printed by a country, not a simple gang. The first country they suspected was, of course, Iran. Intaglio printers purchased before the revolution were still in working order. The other two usual suspects were Lebanon and Iraq. Iraq, in particular, had ordered new printing presses just a few months earlier, but as the investigation progressed, the paper and ink used also came into play. Putting all the clues together, they discovered which country had printed the money: North Korea. After discovering where the money was printed, America fell into a deep silence. It did nothing, because the Secret Service wanted to find the answer to another question: how many millions of dollars of this money were in circulation? The first counterfeit bills appeared in China. 100,000 counterfeit dollars had been circulated in a casino in Macau. The owner of the dollars was a North Korean. He was the manager of a government-owned company called Zokwang. A few months later, another manager from the same company played at the casino with 400,000 counterfeit dollars, but these were pocket change. A currency trade worth $27 million had taken place between Dublin, Moscow, and Pyongyang. The owner of the money was an Irishman named Sean Garland. He had sent $27 million to North Korea via Russia and received more than $50 million in counterfeit dollars in return. When the investigation began, the US did not expect such a large amount of counterfeit dollars to be in circulation. As the case grew, the money they were tracking led them to one place, Room 39. After North Korea was divided, Kim Il-sung completely changed the state administration. He numbered the state administration so that everyone's area of authority would be clear. For example, room number 35 means the intelligence agency. Room number 38 manages North Korea's legal currency. You can think of it like the Ministry of Finance. Room number 39 manages illegal currency. Room 39 will do anything to make money. They manage over 120 companies. Two companies are particularly important. The first is Taesong Bank, which they use to launder the money they earn. The second is Zokwang Textile. North Korea doesn't just print counterfeit dollars, it also produces knockoff clothing. Don't dismiss it as just clothing. North Korea earns $500 million annually from counterfeit clothing. They are involved in many industries. From illegally selling Russian oil to hacking cryptocurrency exchanges, they are everywhere. Of course, what earns them the most money is printing counterfeit dollars. I'll even show you where they print them. It's in this building. This is printing house number 62. It was found as a result of extensive American research. So it's clear where these counterfeit dollars are printed, who prints them, and how many are printed. But nothing can be done. America had conducted years of thorough research, but they couldn't touch them because this printing house is inside North Korea and it's impossible to intervene. When America couldn't shut down the printing press, it decided to intervene in the dollar. They changed the design of the $100 bill. They added a watermark feature to the newly printed dollars. When held under ultraviolet light, a pattern invisible to the naked eye appears. The second major change was in the printing. It would now be printed on a smaller scale, allowing them to add details that would be very difficult to counterfeit. But the most important innovation was the color-changing ink. When viewed head-on, the number 100 appeared green, but when viewed at an angle, it appeared black. This ink would change the entire equation. Just a few months after the new dollars were printed, the US obtained some interesting intelligence. A textile factory in North Korea had placed a large ink order with SICPA in Switzerland. SICPA is the company that produces the ink used by the United States. Naturally, they did not allow North Korea to obtain the ink. The plan that America had been preparing step by step would finally work. No ink, no money. North Korea was finally cornered. A few months after the new dollars were printed, a Saturday night. The place is Las Vegas. A Taiwanese businessman named Wilson is playing slots at the casino he always goes to, just like he always does. The machines he plays are old-style slot machines that only accept cash in $100 bills. After playing a few hands and losing, Wilson cashes out and goes up to his room to rest. This was Wilson's 50th game lost that day. As he was about to fall asleep in his room, there was a flurry of activity on the upper floor of the casino. The casino's security team was analyzing each of Wilson's games one by one. They were all the same. He loaded cash, lost a few hands, and withdrew the money. The casino, suspecting Wilson of using some trick they don't understand, alerts the police. Although the police go to catch a simple gambler cheating, they find themselves in the middle of a much more complex crime. Wilson's real name is Chen Chang-lu. He's actually North Korean, not Taiwanese. He was responsible for feeding the new dollars printed in room 39 into the system. The system worked like this. He would load counterfeit $100 bills into the slot machine, lose a few hands, then walk away from the game and collect $90 in real cash. Chen had used this tactic to funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars into the system at casinos around the world. While America thought it couldn't find the ink, North Korea had already printed new, redesigned dollars. Everything was back to square one once again as they tracked the money. This time, there was much more of it. Millions of counterfeit dollars were found in Hong Kong, Cambodia, Mongolia, China, and even Russia. They had spread throughout almost all of Asia. There were so many counterfeit dollars that they even affected the dollar exchange rate in Asia, causing the dollar's value to be much lower than it should have been. The United States made its final and most effective move. It added a three-dimensional security strip above the $100 denomination. Under ultraviolet light, the security strip turns pink and displays the text USA 100. They also added color to the dollar bill. The new series uses blue, orange, yellow, green, and black inks. Since each ink type is different, even if counterfeiters obtain one type, they cannot produce counterfeit money because the others are unavailable. This graph shows the counterfeit dollars that have been seized. After new security measures were introduced in 2011, the number of counterfeit dollars decreased significantly. It seems that Room 39 can no longer print super banknotes. Or perhaps they have become so good that we can no longer distinguish them from the real ones.